Hi everybody, welcome to Screen Chasers. I'm Anthony.
This is Jermaine.
And joining us for the first time is our Screen Chasers correspondent.
Hey everybody, it's Kimbo.
Yay! First official change. Let's do this. Woo! Ladies' perspective, y'all.
Yeah.
That's right. Kimbo is joining us for the first time. We're very excited to have her, and we just saw the movie
The Conjuring, which is about
paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. Forced to confront a powerful entity, the Warrens find themselves caught in the most terrifying case of their lives. Bom, bom, bom. This movie stars Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, Ron Livingston, and Lily Taylor.
Hey Anthony, who directed this movie?
James Wan, or whatever the hell his name is.
What the hell has he done?
It's Wan. He did Saw, Insidious, Dead Silence, Saw 3.
Makes a lot of sense now.
Alright, so we just saw the movie Conjuring. Kim, we're going to do this a little different this time. Since it's your first time around, we're going to give you the honors. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people about this movie?
I thought the movie was okay. It was your usual horror flick, I think, honestly. It was semi-predictable in the beginning, but when the Warrens actually made their appearance after the educational part, like with them actually being in the classroom and you finding out about them, the story started to move along a lot quicker and became more of that moment, like the moments were available where you could actually sit on the edge of your seat and be like, what's going to happen next? So, and the entire family was involved, which was good. It wasn't just one person. There was a lot going on. I also liked the way that the film worked, like the way they had the camera.
Yeah, the cinematography. I will definitely say that about this movie. The cinematography in this movie was spot on. It really did capture this eerie presence of this being. It showed it from different perspectives. You never knew what angle it was going to come from. There's a couple angles where they actually flip it upside down and follow you down this hallway, and it just completely fit the mood. It was really well done as far as the cinematography.
I totally agree with you. And the one thing I'll agree with Kim is there were a lot of horror movie cliches in this. However, I think they took all the good ones that I actually like. The jump scares, the creatures, they didn't not show us anything like Paranormal has been known for doing and everything like that. Oh, yeah. It gave me that same creep factor at the same time.
I felt the exact same way. I'm going to differ with you a little bit on this one, Kim. I didn't think this was a typical horror movie. There's very few horror movies that I actually like. Jermaine knows this.
Very few.
I am not a gore horror guy. I really am not. There's certain movies that I really kind of gravitate towards. I really think the first Paranormal Activity movie was a really original, really cool concept of it. What they did in this movie was they took what would typically nowadays be a POV, found footage film, and they shot it where you can actually see everyone, in the background. So I thought that was really cool. What I did like about this is what I was said in our Minutemen. I like the fact that they show you the entity.
The entity.
Yeah.
They show you
a couple of them.
Well, and in several different forms. I liked it because there were actually different forms that the director brought in, that you could actually see of the entity instead of just what you see at the ending or what, one visual and then that's it. Oh, that's finally what it was, and then cuts it off. There was more available.
Yeah.
For the audience, too.
I mean, look, you're both coming from some good points. I think I liked it more than Kim, a little bit less than you, but I really did enjoy the film. It had all my favorite horror cliches. It had a white family getting scared. It had an old house.
Jermaine loves that.
I love all those things.
And I like the way that they had the house, too. The house was really, honestly...
The house was one of the scariest
parts.
Yeah. As soon as they walked in the
set
door,
was scary,
I was like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Deuces!
I would not live in
What
a
are we
house
doing
like that.
here?
And the creepy, the lake, and that was creepy.
Yeah, and I also thought they did a good job on the whole based on a true story thing. I don't know how much history people really know about this, but what were the names of the Monroes?
The Warrens were
the Warrens. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Warrens were actually a couple. They actually investigated the Amityville horror. They actually are known by the Vatican. They actually allowed them to go in and do things. So it's a very cool little history lesson in there too.
Thanks, Professor Sneed.
I do what I can.
I think a major drawback to this movie is, as you said in Minutemen, it stars the same exact people from Insidious.
Thank you! Am I the only one who thought this was Insidious 2 for a second?
No, you're not. I really didn't. I really did. I thought this was Insidious 2.5 or whatever. But I think it's falling into that same little genre. All these movies are coming out around the same times. Like last year we had Mama, which was actually, in my opinion, a really good horror film. But you got Mama, you got this movie, you got Insidious 2 coming out. But I think this movie is its own standalone movie. It really is.
It is, and I think the whole formula right now is basically, and I thought this movie was going to be that, take a horror film, give it for a small budget, everybody's going to go see it, and it's a big money grab.
Yeah.
Sure, this movie's going to make good money over the weekend, but I think it was an originally well-done movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, if a horror film actually is suspenseful enough and it puts me on the edge of my seat, it keeps me entertained, then to me, that's a good movie. That's a good horror movie, and it's worth my money.
Yeah,
so,
like
this
the only
movie,
thing that
I walked out happy.
Yeah, the only thing that, like I said, it was a slow start, but once the Warrens were introduced, it picked up, definitely.
Was it scary to you, though?
No.
See, that's the problem then. If the girls ain't scary, why am I take her to see it?
Well, but I'm not your average broad.
That is also true.
Yeah. Well, I think anything that took place in the basement, the only aspect of this movie that was actually kind of like suspenseful, like scary, was when it took place in the basement. That was it.
Well, and then the children, also, watching the children, their involvement with the entity, being the fear that was instilled in them.
Ooh,
So that was definitely creepy too.
Another horror movie cliche: little white children being scary. It scares Jermaine. What? Don't scare nobody else?
Let me ask you this really quick, though. If they did make another one with more of the stories on the Warrens, would you be willing to go see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So you, okay.
I'm interested in the Warren stories because that's why I think they did this. Why even put them in the movie as stars? They could have just brought them in and been the investigators like they normally do with most of these movies, like even in Insidious. I think they made the Warrens the stars because they're going to get some spin-off off of this.
And they did mention some of their other story. And even at the end, there was like, oh yeah, there's a story up in such and such that we need to go
Exactly. They're setting it up for that. This is the blockbuster guy thinking at me. Yeah. I think they're setting us up for this.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much been our take on this movie. Kim, you got any final closeout words for this film?
Yeah, if you're a big horror film guru, go see it. I personally am not really into horror, but I mean, it was a great movie overall. Like I said, once the Warrens came into the picture, it moved pretty quick. So.
Cool. All right, Jermaine.
Cool. I mean, this is not my favorite horror flick of all time or anything, but I definitely recommend going and checking it out. I would see this movie just again for the last hellacious 30 minutes, to be honest with you, because that was great horror movie making right there. Last 30 minutes was awesome, man.
I agree. That, you know what? You said that better than I did. The last 30, 45 minutes.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Anthony?
Yeah. In my opinion, this movie's totally worth going to see in the theater. If you are a big fan of horror films, you are going to like this. Even if you're you dabble every now in horror films.
Dabble.
You dabble like me in horror films. I think you're going to be pretty pleasantly surprised in this. I could see where some people wouldn't really like this movie, but I was genuinely entertained by it. I think it was pretty suspenseful. I thought it was an original take on a cliche concept. So I definitely say check this movie out. And yes, absolutely, the last 30 minutes of this movie rocked the shit. So that's pretty much it. I guess we're out.
We are out.
All right, everybody.
Holla!
Yeah, what those guys said.
Boom.